What's up, everybody, and welcome back to The Intern. My name is Chadwell, and today, like always, another interesting video for you here on the channel. Which team should Cooper Flagg go to? So, I said last week we would really be talking about which team should Cooper Flagg go to because, honestly, it is draft season. A lot of fantasy leagues are done. This is about the time where, in a lot of leagues, fantasy is about done because, let's be honest here, a lot of players already ruled out for the season. A lot of players are starting to sit because they're ready for playoffs. This is about the time where we start looking towards the offseason. And what's the first thing on the offseason for us? It's Cooper Flagg. It's the draft. It's the combine. It's everything like that. Yes, playoffs are still there, but that's not fantasy for us. So we're going to talk about, and I said this last week, which team should Cooper Flagg go to? Last week we kind of had, what would Cooper Flagg look like on each team? This week it's going to be what team should Cooper Flagg go to? Because he's been such a polarizing prospect, it's interesting to talk about, and I do believe that it's something that will make a lot of sense to talk about going into the season, and I think we'll nonstop keep talking about what I think could be the best. And the draft lottery, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be sometime in May. It's around usually Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals. So it'll be very interesting to see who could get potentially the number one pick while that is going on. So let's start off with number 10. We have 10 teams for you. I have San Antonio Spurs here. I think this is the most sneaky potential good because I do believe that in a sense of Victor Wembanyama being there, this will be, and this is all of the potential lottery teams that are there. You could really look at a lot of these teams and see that there is chances of Cooper Flagg being a bench piece, which is insane to say, even though he would be a polarizing prospect. De'Aaron Fox, Cooper Flagg, Victor Wembanyama is the big three. I think they would value Cooper Flagg and Victor Wembanyama pretty close, but Victor obviously number one, which will limit Cooper Flagg's possibly his ceiling. I don't think that anybody would call you crazy for saying that. I do have to say I do believe that Cooper Flagg will be the number one option on most teams he enter. This team, he won't be. And so I think that is why I am so kind of hesitant to say, you know what, he will be a part of this team, whatever. I think more than likely, in my opinion, him being on this team will probably hurt his value than not. So we'll see about this one. Up next at number 9. You would originally think that the Sixers wouldn't be on this list, but I'm trying to think of all the potential teams that could have been. There's been some really bad ones. I think the Rockets, for example. Oh, the Raptors. Pelicans. Those are pretty bad teams, in my opinion, that Cooper Flagg could potentially go on. There's another one I'm thinking of. I think Mavericks. Maybe, yeah, Mavericks. Those are all places that I would have to believe that he could actually be a bench piece for them at the beginning, and you don't want that. 76ers, I think they would actually value Cooper Flagg maybe as their main guy. I think Tyrese Maxey's their main person. Cooper Flagg has all the capabilities of doing everything on the ball. And with the 76ers knowing that, maybe this is them kind of realizing, Cooper Flagg, Tyrese Maxey's our future. Joel and Paul George will have to see about. And maybe it is a sense of either moving on with the young talent, or maybe it's a sense of we will be using this young talent right now and wait while our old talent's healing up from injuries like Joel Embiid. I don't think this is entirely a bad option. I think his assist numbers will be pretty nice. I think his defensive skills will still be nice. I think when Embiid's there, maybe he's not having the ball as much, but I have to believe Cooper Flagg will be prioritized with Philly. At number 8, we have Sacramento Kings. Face value, this looks kind of bad because of how many dominant ball players there are. And I debated on putting the Kings at 9. But DeMar's not going to be here for the long run. Zach LaVine is not really a crazy ball dominant player. He's really been working off ball. Same with Malik Monk. Cooper Flagg will probably have to work a little bit off ball as well, which makes me wish I kind of put him at number 9 because Domantas Sabonis will have the assist numbers going forward. And I think you're going to see Cooper Flagg and Domantas Sabonis have a somewhat of a De'Aaron Fox situation where De'Aaron Fox was playing off ball a lot. Maybe his assist numbers weren't as high at times. I still would have to believe, though, that Cooper Flagg and Domantas Sabonis would be a tremendous duo. Cooper Flagg would help so great defensively. Sabonis would be able to get rebounds, pass out. This would be an electrifying offense because of how much of a Swiss Army knife kind of Cooper Flagg's play is. My God, think of the Kings with that. That would be crazy. And you still have Keegan Murray on the bench. At number 7, we have the Miami Heat. Originally, I was kind of worrisome of the Miami Heat getting Cooper Flagg. But after seeing this, this kind of losing streak and seeing everything with that, I'm starting to realize they don't have for sure pieces on the Heat. And Cooper Flagg would probably be their number 1 moving forward because of how talented he is. I don't think right away. I think Bam and Tyler Hero would still have it. But do I believe in 2 years to 3 years, would he be the untouchable piece rather than Bam and Tyler Hero? I do believe so. And I also have to say, I believe over a Bam Adebayo. Well, let me say this. Bam Adebayo and Cooper Flagg is probably the perfect duo you could have with him. There's really a kind of sense of Cooper Flagg needing to really have, or Bam Adebayo has always needed like a defensive piece, a stretch guy next to him. Kelaware has really shown how well he could be when he's been there. Cooper Flagg is better than Kelaware. He can play very great defensively. He can shoot the ball, and he can pass out a little bit. My nose is about to sneeze, and hopefully I don't. I don't think I will now, which is very good. Tyler Hero would be probably maybe a little bit more off ball. I think he would have the ball a little bit more, but I still believe it would be a little bit more off ball. I think his assist numbers could be very well. And I trust a Miami Heat coaching staff to make Cooper Flagg great. That's what I really want to say about this, because look at Jaime Jaquez, Kelaware, some of the draft picks they've had in the past. I feel confident with them potentially getting a Cooper Flagg and getting out his true value. At number 6, you have Portland Trail Blazers. It's a really crowded area, but I have to say, I don't think there's a number 1 guy for sure, because they're still doing bad at the end of the day. And because of that, I think Cooper Flagg is someone I have to say would be their number 1 guy for sure moving forward. I think they would realize it. They would start moving pieces like Jeremy Grant, like DeAndre Ayton maybe, so they can have, Donovan Kling in there. It would be a really good connection with Donovan Kling and Cooper Flagg as well. I just have to be honest with you. I get a little worried with Denny there, with Scoot Henderson not getting the minutes that he probably deserved to really help him. Yes, he's a 6th man, but everyone thought he would start right away. Anthony Simon's still there when we all thought he would be gone. There's so many question marks with the Portland Trailblazers that it worries me a little bit on how to develop Cooper Flagg, but I don't think this is necessarily a bad area. I think once we get to our top 5, I would start feeling very confident on Cooper Flagg probably being really good, starting with Charlotte Hornets. I think Charlotte Hornets is a crowded area, but they need to look for talent. Granted, we haven't really seen a fully healthy Hornets team because there's been always these slight injuries on the team. LaMelo Ball would be probably a amazing, and I mean amazing, key piece to be of Cooper Flagg. He would also have Brandon Miller there. He would slot in to be the second guy. I think you have LaMelo, your number 1, Cooper, your number 2, Brandon Miller, your number 3 guys. You have Miles Bridges that would probably leave later on in life. Mark Williams there, that's probably going to leave as well. I just have to say that this would be a tremendous spot for Cooper Flagg if it wasn't for Brandon Miller and if it wasn't for Miles Bridges. Because if you take away those 2 factors, LaMelo Ball and Cooper Flagg is probably the best duo we could have for Cooper Flagg right now. And I think it would help him with his points. It would help him with the lob threat. It would help him with, just playing more as a athletic guy. But we can't say that because we have Brandon Miller, we have Miles Bridges, and even Mark Williams in the thing. But I still believe maybe in fantasy, you're still getting the ball, you're still getting points, and more than likely, Cooper Flagg is the number 2 on that team. Up next at number 4, I think it's the Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls are starting to really tank. And yes, they've won these games recently, but they are starting to tank and they're starting to rebuild their lineup to a younger lineup. Nikola Vucevic will be off this team in the offseason is my guess. So they're probably pulling in another center, or they keep Zach Collins as a center just to develop and then pick a center later on. You have Cooper Flagg down at power forward. Matthews Buzelis there, who's really shined. who's been a very athletic kind of 3-and-D kind of wing. Kobe White is a scorer, pure scorer. Josh Giddey has really pulled out as the pure playmaker on this team. I believe with Cooper Flagg there, he's automatically the number one guy there because they were already questionable about Kobe White. Josh Giddey as his playmaker will be excellent for Cooper Flagg. Cooper Flagg will also be able to probably get some assists as well because he'll have Kobe White there, Matisse Pizzelis, whatever it might be. Cooper Flagg will be the number one guy for Chicago if he goes there. And that's why I just keep looking back and I keep thinking about the young core that's already with him and how he would be able to develop with him. And I think the key piece about this is Josh Giddey with his playmaking skills with Cooper Flagg is what's going to probably elevate Cooper Flagg's game. Up next at number 3 is Utah Jazz. Speaking of potential, number one guys, I go back and forth to see if Lauri and Cooper Flagg would be number one, but I still think it would be Cooper Flagg because of how Danny Ainge really values defensive wings and can do it all kind of wings. Lauri is great. Lauri's on a great deal, or questionable deal now, but a good long deal. But he's going to be more of a complementary piece to Lauri Markkanen, I think, or to Cooper Flagg. Cooper Flagg will probably enter and immediately get all the minutes he wants, get developed right away. They know how to probably develop him as well. I'm not scared about Cooper Flagg going to Utah. I think he'll be able to really pass the ball. He'll be really able to score the ball, defend the ball. You have Walker Kessler there, so you could get some weak side blocks. I generally could see the Utah Jazz jumping up number 2 for me. It's just hard to say because I like the last two destinations the most when it comes to how he could reach his top ceiling because you still have Lauri there, you still have Walker Kessler, Keontae George, and there's a lot of picks coming in. At number 2 is the Washington Wizards. So this is why they're my number 2. Alex Sarr has shown potential. You have a center that can be there and can stretch out a little bit as well. You have Bilal Coulibaly, a great 3-and-D wing. You have Jordan Poole, you have Bub Carrington. None of these guys are for sure franchise pieces. And when I say franchise pieces, I mean there's absolutely no way we trade him. Alex Sarr maybe, Bilal Coulibaly maybe. I think those are the two that are debatable. But Cooper Flagg would be their number 1 for sure. There's no doubt about it. Every place I've kind of said, other than the Bulls, there's maybe a little bit of a question mark. There's no question mark with the Wizards. And because of that, I have to be honest with you. More than likely, Cooper Flagg lands here, he's probably hitting or getting close to his ceiling, where he has the young talent with him that's going to be able to develop with him. He's going to probably have the ball more because the point guard situation could be a little bit iffy with Bub Carrington. I mean, I like Bub Carrington, but maybe Wizards are questionable. His assist numbers might be really high. His stocks will be really high because he has Alex Sarr to play with, so he can really get weak side blocks. He doesn't have to be the main defender. This screams a great piece and a great just landing spot for him. But the reason why I have the Brooklyn Nets number 1 is because when you look at the Brooklyn Nets, and this happens to a lot of teams, they have the worst, and I mean the worst roster in the NBA. D'Angelo Russell, their top players are Cam Johnson, Cam Thomas, and Nick Claxton. It's not really a great trio when you're looking at other teams because at least they have young players. They have franchise pieces. These are good now players, but the Brooklyn Nets are a now team. Cam Thomas, for how much he scores, is not that great defensively, and it's a big, and I mean big Achilles heel for them. You can already see Jordy Fernandez. He hasn't played him as much because of that. D'Angelo Russell, Trey on the team, still underwhelming. Cam Johnson's a great 3-D wing, but he is nothing other than a 3rd star in my opinion. Nick Claxton's a decent center, but there's still offense questions that hurt him. Cooper Flagg joining this team will, truthfully, in my opinion, probably be, I'm going to say it, Cooper Flagg joining this team will have the best potential for Cooper Flagg as a player because it's like the Spurs situation. The Spurs, when they had Victor Wembanyama, when they got the number 1 pick, I should say, they had the worst team. There was no franchise players. Every single team you could at least say, well, this is probably a franchise player. Well, this is probably a franchise player. Well, they have these players that will probably stay on the team. Brooklyn Nets, your team is, that will probably stay on the team is Cam Johnson, and he's potentially been traded. Nick Claxton, he was looking at being traded. Cam Thomas is the only person that they said they would trade, and then he got injured, so they didn't. Cooper Flagg joined this team. He's on a brand new team with a good head coach. I mean, this Brooklyn Nets team is the worst team in the NBA, like roster-wise. And for some reason, they aren't the worst team. That shows the coaching is good. They have that. They have all of these picks coming in where they can help Cooper Flagg. I mean, they have 4 firsts this year. And I'm not worried about talent overflow. They have no talent to be there. Cooper Flagg joining this team is tremendous for him because he can do everything he wants. It's like Victor Wembanyama. He can do everything he wants. Yes, he might not be the best player right away, but on a lot of these teams, he wouldn't anyways. He's going to get the minutes. He's going to be able to go crazy fast as how much he wants to go fast. It's going to be great for his development, in my opinion. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.